Now at 5 o'clock, taking a live look outside at the Rose City Sky Cam. It's day 2 of our extended heat wave. People across the region are looking for ways to stay cool and safe. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm John Adams alongside Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino. And Matt, we are in the midst of it right now.
We are. We're in it, and we're going to be in it for a couple of more days. The hottest weather actually hasn't even hit us yet. That's going to come on Monday and Tuesday. So we are on the big ramp up, and you can certainly feel the difference, at least I could, between yesterday and today. Here is the 7-day forecast. And again, we're highlighting those first 3 days in red. We're calling those weather impact alert days, because the weather is at the very least inconvenient and at most downright dangerous, or at least uncomfortable. And that's what we have, of course. As we roll above 100 degrees, we'll get there today. We almost got there yesterday with 99. 102 tomorrow, 104 on Monday, then 104 again on Tuesday before we finally get just a little bit of a coastal breeze edging into the valleys to drop us into the 90s. And we may actually stay below 90 for a couple of days, Thursday, Friday, and break our streak of 90-degree days, which I'm sure a lot of people will be just fine with, right? Outside right now, it is 98 in Portland, but again, we're just now getting to the hottest part of the day. And when the new numbers come in, I think we're going to be about 100 or 101 for the high today. 13% humidity, so it is dry air, and that's one reason why we've been able to cool off at night. I'll show you the morning lows. Even the coast, though, has been cooking. Remember, we had 90s on the north coast yesterday. About 20 minutes ago, it was 86 at Cannon Beach. They're down to 84. The coast will begin to see some cooling tomorrow, but only into the 70s. Where the valleys, we've already hit 99 in Portland, and I think we're going to be a little bit warmer, probably 100. The valleys are going to take a few more days to cool off as the axis of the hottest air is right over us. Look at Medford with 112. That's only 3 degrees shy of their all-time record high temperature. So 100-degree temperatures pretty much everywhere along the I-5 corridor this afternoon. Okay, the morning lows, this is perhaps the one good thing about this forecast is we have been cooling off, like all the way down to 53 in Hillsborough this morning. Meanwhile, in the city, because of the urban heat island effect, we were good 9 degrees warmer or so, 62. But again, that's a lot better than only dropping to say 69 or 70. So not bad with the morning lows in the Portland, Vancouver area seeing the warmest nights. But the nights are going to get warmer as the temperatures go up, because we'll be starting from a higher starting point. So it just takes longer to cool down. And of course, keep in mind, we've got our shortest nights of the year right now in early July, just after the solstice a couple weeks ago. So look at this hour by hour forecast. We don't drop below 90 till about 8:30, 9 o'clock. Don't drop below 80s until probably around midnight. So again, it's going to be a very, very warm night. So now through Tuesday is the hottest time. We will continue with the excessive heat. Stay hydrated. I've been telling you that, but it's worth repeating many, many times. Keep the water bottle handy and try to avoid strenuous activity during the hottest part of the day from, say, noon till about 6 p.m. John?
All right, Matt, we'll see you a little later in the show. And this isn't going to make it any easier for folks downtown. We're taking a live look as MAX and streetcar service are disrupted. It happened because an overhead wire came down near Portland State's campus near the PSU Urban Center stop in Southwest 5th and Mill. TriMet says MAX green, orange, and yellow are disrupted, but being serviced by shuttle buses. You should expect delays if you're riding MAX today. The Portland streetcar is completely shut down due to multiple power outages system-wide. 911 dispatchers have stayed busy during the heat wave, answering over 3,600 emergency calls since yesterday. Our Daisy Caballero joins us now with how many heat-related calls dispatchers have received. Hey, Daisy.
Hey, John. Yeah, when talking heat-related medical calls, Portland dispatchers received 6 calls yesterday and only 1 as of noon today. We sat down with Portland's very own North America's Call Taker of the Year, Stefan Ziprich. He was one of 24 active call takers and dispatchers on Saturday. And being as busy as they are, we spoke about the importance of knowing when to call 911 and the non-emergency lines. This way, their phone lines stay open to life-threatening situations.
There's factors involved in whether or not something is really an emergent situation. So the best way to determine that is there an immediate threat to life or property? If yes, 911 is absolutely okay to do that.
Now, if you suspect someone possibly suffering from heat-related distress on the street, you're asked to immediately call 911, as prolonged exposure to these temperatures can be, as we know it, life-threatening. TriMet is also offering free rides to a cooling center between 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. all the way through Monday. All you have to do is tell the bus operator where you're headed. John, back to you.
All right, Daisy, thank you. Well, as the heat wave continues, nonprofits are stepping up to support those living on the streets. Our Ashley Grahams followed along as outreach workers brought resources to the homeless in Salem.
Imagine we have about 5 cases of 40.
Water bottles, Gatorade, and ice. All essential as temperatures near 100 degrees in Salem, Oregon.
We hand it out and everything as fast as possible.
Robert and Maggie work for Mid-Willamette Valley Community Action. They're loading up for a full day of outreach at a homeless camp of around 300 people inside Wallace Marine Park. Typically they do outreach from this car, but in special situations, the city of Salem offers up this ATV, which makes it easier to get to those hard-to-reach places where folks are camping. Once the group is in motion, making their way through the trees, it's not long before Maggie's voice rings out.
Good morning! Guess what? Water!
People find their way onto the path,
1,
looking forward to a cold drink.
2.
But that's not all Maggie offers.
Mom,
She often leaves them with sunscreen and a smile.
see you tomorrow. Bye.
Then the team is on the road again, looking for another camp
Water! Gatorade!
for someone else who might be thirsty or overheating.
When we woke up an hour ago, it was so hot in there I couldn't stand it. Sweat was just pouring off me, just laying there.
Mike lives here inside a tent. He says it's a fight to stay cool, and the water they do have doesn't last long.
One drink of water is one of those bottles. It's just gulp, it's gone.
Nancy uses some of the water she gets for her cats.
I cool them down, put water on their belly and stuff like that, make sure they get cooled down.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
For Maggie, this kind of work is more than just passing out Gatorade.
Here's my call, my purpose.
She's making connections and sharing resources that she hopes will help people transition into safer, more stable lives.
I cannot save everybody, but at least I can give love to everybody.
And Ashley joining us now. We just heard from Matt that it's only going to get hotter this week. Is this going to continue as the week goes on?
Definitely. So once the temperature reaches 90 degrees, that's when outreach responses like this one start. Once it reaches 95, then they open a cooling center. So well above that, they're planning to keep this going into next week.
Hopefully everyone is safe out there. All right, Ashley, thank you. Well, fire danger is another big concern during this extended heat wave. This is video from Furdale Road in Washington County, where firefighters rushed to put out a fast-moving fire that burned about 19 acres in a field on Friday. And just as they were wrapping up there, Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue crews raced to another brush fire near Shoals Sherwood in Roy Rogers Road. Crews say they suspect both fires were caused by farm equipment, and this shows just how quickly fires can ignite in these hot, dry conditions. That's why there are outdoor burn bans in place across the area. Firefighters in Camas had to work quickly to keep this house fire from spreading to the nearby forest. Friday, crews responded to the house along Northeast 66th Way. This was a challenge for crews. The home was in a gated community, so getting to it was slow. The nearest fire hydrant also nearly 7 miles away. Crews fought this fire defensively and were able to keep it from breaking loose despite all the vegetation around it. No one was injured. Well, keeping our plants and gardens healthy can be a challenge in extreme heat. It's obvious they need more water, but there are also several things experts say you should do to give them the best chance at staying healthy. The team at Portland Nursery says that when it comes to watering, you want to prioritize potted plants or those in raised beds because they'll dry out more quickly. You should also pay close attention to newly transplanted plants. Watering in the morning is ideal, and watering at the base of the plant instead of using a sprinkler is best, but there are also things you should avoid doing.
One of the things you don't want to do is transplant any plants. If you've got a plant like a tree or a shrub that you want to move, now is not the time to do it. You want to avoid fertilizing right now. If you fertilize right now, you're going to kind of you're going to entice the plant to grow a bit more, and when the plant's growing more, it's going to need more water, so you're kind of creating a problem for yourself there. And then also pruning, you really shouldn't be pruning right now.
You might also want to add mulch to your garden. That can keep soil temperatures down and keep moisture in. Also consider weeding so that those weeds aren't stealing water away from the plants you want to keep. Well, if you need a cool place to cool off, we've got you covered. Just text the keyword heat to 503-226-5088 and we'll text you a link back with a list of cooling centers plus fountains and splash pads across the area. We also have an interactive map that shows you all the places to cool down in Multnomah County. New tonight, Portland homicide detectives are working on another killing in the Old Town neighborhood. Just before midnight last night, officers from the entertainment detail heard shots fired near Northwest 3rd and Everett. They rushed to the area and found a man injured who would later die at the hospital. There have been no arrests made at this point. If you know anything about this case, please call Portland Police. Well, it's a somber day for the University of Oregon community. Former Ducks football star Kyrie Jackson has died in a fatal car crash. He was just 24 years old. It happened early this morning in Maryland, just outside of Washington, D.C. Jackson and two former teammates were killed when another car slammed into them while they were trying to change lanes. Jackson was getting ready for training camp with the Minnesota Vikings, who drafted him after a strong senior year with the Ducks. This has led to an outpouring of emotion from Ducks coaches, players, and fans. Orlando Sanchez will join us with that in just a few minutes. We'll be right back.